So this evening's class, we're heading towards the warrior. We're still working on hips, knee joint, lower back, and as usual, working around the rest of the body as well. So it's a nice sequence. I hope you enjoy it. And I will, for those of you who are in the class live at this moment, I'll send you a photograph of the actual sequence leading to the warrior. So shall we start by lying down in corpse pose? So Shavasana, lying down comfortably. Make sure you've got what you need to be as comfortable as possible. I would suggest a blanket underneath you and a blanket on top. If you have extra layers now, you can keep them on, or you can put them nearby your yoga mat for the end where you might need to put them back on. So they're there for you. If you have glasses on, do remove them. And if you have a eye pillow, it's kind of nice to use an eye pillow. Nice bit of pressure in the right places around the eye socket. Depending on what's happening with your very upper back, where it joins the neck vertebra, you may or may not find it comfortable to have a little bit of support for your head. So, your hands are about a foot away from the hips, palm upwards. You can always wiggle and jiggle your hands so that your shoulders move further down. I quite often put pressure through my head, lift my upper back up, move my shoulders down further, and then bring the chin to the chest and open out my shoulder blades. Get the feet to point out further wide, feet are about 2 foot apart. And then we just quickly drop the body into the earth and let it go. Let it quickly is probably the wrong word, but letting the body go. Here we are on our mat, in this place. And we're coming into this present moment, this moment. So let's do the 3-minute breathing space. Let's see how we're doing in the mind. What are we thinking? See if we can observe that. Which thoughts are trundling through? And as you've probably noticed, if you have the ability to sort of step to the side and observe your thoughts coming through the mind like a train going through a station, it helps when thoughts are difficult. It helps when thoughts are, you're actually thinking negative thoughts or critical thoughts, because you've trained a part of yourself to observe this and be aware and think kindly, how can I help? What should I do? What would help? What might be the best, tenderest, lovingest, kindest thing? How could I help myself in this? Rather than simply, absolutely 100% absorbed in whatever the thoughts are. Okay. The more we practice that, the easier it gets in sort of daily life, 24/7. And we're building up this nice, kind, compassionate, gentle, caring, friend awareness within us. That can be with us no matter what's going on. Okay, let's turn to the emotional level and let's see how we're doing emotionally. Right in this moment, how do we feel emotionally? And you might even want to try a little list of positive feelings and difficult feelings. You might have, I'm tired, I feel weary, and yet at the same time, I'm luxuriating already in the fact that I've given myself 90 minutes that I've got here. This is time for me, I'll feel better. So however you're feeling, warmly, kindly observing. And then we take the awareness to the physical body. Wonderful physical body of ours. All our different shapes and sizes. Okay, so just scanning around, maybe. Anything calling out from the body. Your knee or your finger or your jaw or your lower back going, ow, ow. Seeing what's going on in there. And I don't know whether you've noticed, but it can be really easy to disassociate from the body. If you're used to having back pain, almost like you can just step away and ignore it and step out of the body so that you don't feel it. So the kind of double-edged sword is in yoga, we're stepping into the body so we can feel it. And at the same time, meeting difficult emotions, difficult feelings, difficult thoughts with kindness, awareness, gentleness, tenderness. And before we move to the second stage, I'd like you to consciously acknowledge to yourself which parts of your body need extra care tonight. So you might find you don't want to use them or you don't want to stretch them, or you're really going to pull back when that part of the body might be doing something that you feel actually it needs protecting from. Good. And then let's move to the second stage, which is being aware of the body being breathed. And when the mind wanders off, which it does, coming back to awareness of the body being breathed. This in-breath, this pause, this out-breath. Which parts of the body move when you breathe in? What happens? And what parts of the body move when you breathe out? What happens? And if any of you find being aware of your breath actually makes you more tense or you start getting worried about your breath, you can be aware of sounds in the room instead. We're simply using that second section of the 3-minute breathing space to anchor ourselves into this present moment. So it's what is happening now. And being aware of it. Okay, and then the final part is combining all those different levels of awareness together. So we're aware of the breath, the body, see how it's already beginning to simply be here, more relaxed than when we started. The emotions, the mind, this room, this place, this yoga session. And I know it might seem a bit corny, but I find it helpful in my own practice to go, thank you, Sarah, thank you, for getting myself to the mat, for bringing myself here. So you might try that. Nobody else is going to thank you for bringing yourself here tonight. So you just say thank you to yourself. What an act of kindness. So this awareness, this very, very in the moment awareness, let's see if we can seamlessly continue that now as we move into yoga poses, breathing work. And if we lose it, coming back by grounding either through the feet or anchoring through the breath, or being aware of the stretch we're in, just coming into the now. Everything else can wait outside the room, outside the house. So, next stage, if you were using a yoga pillow, you might need to remove it. Start to wriggle the fingers and the toes, and then bring the legs to parallel and move the feet, toes towards you or away from you. I'm just protecting my right Achilles at the moment because a few weeks ago I did something to it and it's just not healing quite properly. It wasn't in yoga, it was when I was out. And so if you see me saying one thing but not doing it with my right leg, foot, ankle, that's because I'm protecting it. Okay, then breathing in, take the arms behind you, backs of the hands onto the floor, long stretch, open from the hips, and try moving your heels further away from you. That moves your hips and pelvis further away. And then try moving your shoulders. I don't normally ask you this, your shoulders past your ears. Okay, that'll bring the whole of the rib cage and upper body away from the pelvis, so it gets bigger space. Where all those massive internal organs are, especially digestive organs and stomach and spleen and kidneys, all nestling in that part of the torso between the pelvis and the rib cage. So extending, open out the fingers wide so you can stretch between them. Move the thumb a bit. You could do big circles with thumbs actually. That would be good for the thumb joint. and circles the other way. And then while the arms are stretching away from you, rotate the wrist. And rotate the wrist the other way. And then take the arms up on an in-breath and out to the sides, Maltese cross, going straight out from the shoulder joint, palms upwards. And just let the arms relax. Double check the body. Notice what's going on in the body. And normally we do quite a long kind of, in inverted commas, warm up, but it's also using yoga asanas whilst we're lying on the floor. But today I'm going to come up, we're going to do a warm up standing. So if you could bend the knees and roll over and come up. If you have blankets, beginning to fold them and put them to one side because we'll need them at the end. Okay, if you have socks on, it's a really good time to take them off, but again, keep them fairly nearby because you'll need them later on to keep warm. Okay, so I'll move back so you can see me fully standing. That's good. Okay, and then can you do arm rotations? Widen out the feet. And the opposite way. Okay, and then backstroke. I'm just really lubricating that shoulder joint. Okay, and if you like, I like to imagine I'm actually in a nice blue lagoon doing backstroke, and then front crawl. Okay, and then crossing the hands, so one hand like that, the other, one hand like that, and then the other kind of joins in with it, like so. Let it follow. It's like the calisthenics people used to do, and then the other way. And you probably feel, oh, shoulders, oh, interesting. That's because we don't really move our shoulders enough these days, really. Okay, and then take the shoulders up and down, and up and down, and up, as far as you can take them, and down. Good. And then opposite ups and downs. Okay, and then just shoulder rolls on their own. And then the opposite way. That stretches all the way across the upper back as well. Very good. And then a few neck rolls would be helpful, and neck stretches. So first of all, let's go over to the right. Stretching the left side of the neck, and then over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down if you can. Lovely. Okay, and then chin to chest. And let's roll the head to the left. Chin to the left shoulder. And down again to the front and over to the right shoulder. And down again. Okay, and you'll feel it working your neck vertebra. You've got 7 vertebrae in there, cervical vertebra. And they actually do need more stretching and using than they're probably getting. Okay, and then the next one, when you get to your right shoulder, lift the chin up, so you're looking to the right. And then we'll pretend to be an owl, so look behind you, if you can, into that peripheral vision, and then round to the front, and look to your left into your peripheral vision. Okay, so it's from right to left. And you'll probably feel some crickling and crackling going on in the neck. Don't worry about it. And it would be nice if you could do this each day. It's not difficult, it doesn't take long. And it's really good for the neck. Okay, good. And then just do, without taking the head back, which I like to think of it more as making circles with the chin. Okay, big circles with the chin going one way. On that might make your neck crickle and crackle quite a lot. And then big circles going the other way. Okay. And then looking straight ahead. The hands drop, let's just rest in Tadasana for a moment. Let the neck vertebrae sort themselves out. Chin slightly down. Okay, and then the next one we're going to do, because it's really good if you've hurt your Achilles tendon. Wonder why we're doing that. So I'd like you to go up onto your tiptoes. Okay, and then I'd like you to walk around on your tiptoes. You can walk up and down your mat. You can walk around the room. And it's a bit like walking in high heel shoes. But it really exercises the foot. And the toes. And it's great if you've pulled Achilles here or any of the tendons around the back of the ankle. Okay. And then coming back to the center of your mat, I'd like you to do the lifts where we do knee to opposite elbow. So right knee to left elbow and left knee to right elbow. Just do that in your own time. Keep your abdominal area quite strong as you do this. Back upright. Got it. And then a bit of swinging from side to side. And then drop the hands and slide a bit more. And then stay down one side. Go a little bit lower on the out breath. Feel the stretch here. On very mid-waist really, off the side of the body, and up. And then the other side. Again, feeling it. Mid-waist side of the body, all the way along here. You can When you breathe out, go a little bit lower with the hand down the leg. Okay, breathing in, coming up, and do some hip rotations. Okay, and as you do these, just check, you know, you've got your femur going into the socket up here. How does that feel? And especially for women with problems with osteoporosis post-menopause, be so careful. The hips become, the whole pelvic area in the hips become very vulnerable, you know, and you'll know women who have fallen and broken their pelvis or broken their hip joint. So I really do recommend keeping it as lubricated as possible and doing, you know, some kind of weight-bearing activity. The more weight you put through a bone, the more calcium the sort of central command system sends to that bone. So walking, jogging, Zumba, all of this helps to keep those hips and legs protected. Okay, and then just slightly tilting forward and back. Again, just feeling what's going on in that hip joint, ball and socket joint. Okay, and then we'll come down to kneeling. So if you have these lovely squishy knee pads, I'd recommend finding one and putting it beneath your knees. Always best to protect the knees, keep them on something soft, especially if we do upright kneeling work. So what I'd like you to do is breathe in, bring the hands up, and breathe out. Bring the hands down to the heart. Take the shoulders back and bring the shoulder blades a little bit more closer together. So you've got these shoulders here really opening up and coming back across the collarbone, chest area nice and wide. Okay, and let's do that again. Breathing in, up. Breathing out, down to the heart. If you're finding that it's really hard to sit back on your feet, think, how can I make this easier for myself? There are several ways. One is to, if you've got some kind of cushion and blocks, pop them onto the feet and sit back on that. Okay. And then let's just do the heart work while we're here. Always useful. So breathing in, up again. Breathing out, coming down. Then breathing in, opening the hands, so the fingers are facing forwards, palms are open, receiving care, kindness. Pause there for a minute. Let's see if we can actually sort this particular visualization out for ourselves. So receiving. So there may be some days where you open your palms to receive, and basically you're running on empty. You're not feeling, you're receiving anything much at all. So how could you help with an image so that you feel a little bit more like you're filling up with love, with tenderness, kindness? So maybe think of someone who has loved you very much. Whatever actually kind of floats your boat with this one. I mean, for me, it's easy when I think of my kittens. They're so affectionate and so sweet. I can almost imagine them holding them, you know, in my palm. And they're just so lovely. And then I can feel that my heart's activated. So I'm loving them. And I feel that that's kind of also opening my heart to feeling loved. Also, it might be that you create a scene in your head of somewhere you've been or people you've been with where it has felt really good to hang out with them or be in that place. So that's all the kind of emotion that we're trying to conjure when we do this particular part of the heart sequence. So receiving. And on days where you still can't feel anything particular, it's just flat, kindness to yourself. It's hard when we're running a little bit on empty. Okay, and then the next one is bringing the palms together, breathing out and sending out. So you can send out to a particular person, or you can visualize yourself in front of you and send out to you. So you're sending out whatever's needed, kindness, tenderness, gentleness, whatever's needed. And then breathing in, we open back, so we open the heart chakra, we open the front of the chest, and the palms now are receptive and open. So we're receiving again. And let's just linger here for a moment as we think about this particular part of the sequence. Receiving kindness from, you can think of it as the whole planet, everyone. Anybody who's feeling gentle or kind or caring in the world at this moment, you've opened your palms and your heart area to receive that beautiful, soft, loving, kind energy. And then the next one on the out breath is we make the palms active. We don't need to necessarily move the hands too much, but we make palms active. And we send out, we imagine from our heart, energies pouring from the heart, also pouring from the palms out. So every living being, sentient being, the planet itself, the universe, again, whatever works for you. Okay, and then the next is an in-breath where we turn the palms upwards and we enfold. So everything that we've created, we're now kind of sealing, making almost like a membrane as we then breathe out, coming down to the heart, enfolding and closing, and then the thumbs touch the heart. And it's almost as though we've sealed it in, sealed it, made it part of ourselves, not dissipating it in any way. So let's do that heart sequence again. So breathing in, beginning by stretching the arms out, and then breathing out, taking the hands down to the heart, shoulders back, opening the heart center. Breathe in, open the palms, receiving. Breathing out, sending. Breathing in, receiving. Breathing out, sending. Up the shoulders, arms upwards. Breathe in, and folding. Breathe out. Okay, and then coming up onto the knees. And I'd like you to clasp the hands, that belly button area. You can see your thumbs, do some thumb circles if you can. Thumbs are sticking upwards towards the face. And then breathe in, go up with your hands parallel. Arms parallel, palms facing each other, and really lift. So first lift was just kind of hanging them around up there, but the second is really lifting up, trying to reach the ceiling, allowing the shoulders to go up. Okay, breathing into that. Breathe out, going down kind of halfway as though you're about to sit on something. So it's thigh muscles activated, almost sitting down. And then as you come right down, sweep the hands up to the heart. Okay. So let's do that again. Up onto the knees, clasp the hands. unfamiliar clasp if you can do it. So move the hands from the position they normally go into and then notch one hand down. So it feels really weird. Okay. Then breathing in, take the arms up, arms facing each other, parallel. Lift a bit more. Lovely. Breathe out, coming down to halfway, sitting back, halfway down. Pause, pause, it's hard work. And when you've had enough, which is probably quite soon, sitting and sweeping the hands back into Namaste at the heart. Okay, and then drop the hands, palms downwards onto the thighs, somewhere comfortable, trying to get the elbows really at the sides. Might need to adjust your shoulders so I feel that they're comfortably down, not holding any tension. And then just close the eyes for a moment. Okay, and then sweeping the hands back behind you, clasp again and lift up. Lift the hands up as much as they will go. So sideways on, trying to lift the arms up. Okay. And then release, shake out. Rotation of wrists, and fingers, rotation again, and then behind again, but unfamiliar clasp. So do the usual clasp, and then notch the fingers down to the next gap between the other hand and its fingers. Okay, and then breathe in, lift. Okay. So you'll feel that stretch here across the chest. And the shoulders going back, and feels as though the shoulder blades are about to touch at the back. And it's quite hard for most people to lift the hands very high at all. Okay, and release. Shake, shake. Good, all doing well so far. And then I'd like you to come into, I'm going to have to be careful with my right ankle. Another knee protector there, just in case I need it. So, okay, I'd like you to put your right foot forward, and I'd like you to have hip width distance at the moment, just between your knee and your front heel, your back knee and your front heel. Like so. And take your hands down so that if somebody is looking at you from the side, the seat of your hands and your heel are about on the same line. And then move your back foot so that it can be straight, the back, or as much straight as you can do, whilst keeping this right angle on that front knee, behind that front knee. Okay. And then bring that back knee down and allow the front leg to become a bit straight. Okay, you can't see because my hands are in the way, but like so, you're just leaning back a little. Like so, okay. Do that one more time, going up. It's kind of like it's the warrior leg position, but we're not putting the torso upright. Okay, you can look forward if you like. And then you can put the back knee down and again, make that front leg a bit more straight, so you're leaning back. Okay. See? Take that knee back, the right knee back, and bring your left foot forward into that right angle position, like so. This comfortable right angle position, hands placed down on either side. Okay. Turn your right toes under I may not do this actually, that's going to hurt my Achilles. So turn your right toes under and then lift your back foot, the back leg up. You can look forward if you like. So it may not look the most elegant pose at the moment, but we are heading to the warrior, Virabhadrasana. Okay, and down and sit back, straightening that front leg a bit if you can. So you're going to sit back on the back heel. Okay, and then bring that front left knee forward, tuck your right toes under again, and then lift up the back leg, look forward. And just see if you can push that back, foot back a bit. So you're getting that extreme stretch front to back leg. Good. Place the knee down, rock back. So you're going to sit back and just see if you can straighten out a bit that front leg. Gently, gently encouraging it to open. Then take that left foot back so that you're kneeling and go down into the child pose. Okay, Balasana. So you might want to put your knees a little bit apart, coming down, forehead to the floor, hands back, palms upwards by the ankles, by the feet. Relax the shoulders into the ground, breathing into it. Nice feeling of letting go. Letting this pose, which is a pose emotionally of soothing, security, being safe, letting that happen. Okay, and then step your hands forwards inside of the head. Push, come up, and we're just going to do a few cat stretches. So into table position. Remember, protect your knees. If you've got a knee pad or blanket, protect your knees. Hands underneath the shoulders. Okay. Knees underneath the hips. Okay. And then breathing in, look up, tailbone goes up, and you make a hammock shape with the spine, and then breathing out. The other way, chin to chest. Tuck the tailbone under. Bridge shape. So breathing in, a hammock. Breathing out, bridge. Keep going and allow that ripple from the base of your spine, tailbone movement all the way up the spine as you go into the hammock, and then see the whole spine stretch all the vertebrae into the bridge. And feel like you're now really exaggerating it. Going as far and deep as you can. And you've got that little pause, that no breath marker, where you just are in the pose. And then the next time that you're in the hammock, just stay there for a moment, keep breathing, looking up to the heavens. And then breathing out into the bridge. Really push the middle of the back upwards if you can. And then prepare to go into the long swan stretch. So maybe open the knees out a bit more as you sit back down on the feet, and then stretch, stretch, stretch the hands away from you until the maximum stretch, and see if you can let the forearms rest on the ground. Technically, your seat is coming down towards the heels at the same time. And drop the shoulders either side. You'll feel this lovely stretch across where the shoulder blades are in the back.
The more you walk the fingers forward, the more you get kind of longer stretch also around the armpit, the sides of the body, and all through the back. So again, once you feel you're in position, just being. No rush. If your wrists are feeling a bit like they could do the tension, you can always just move them a little in this pose whilst the rest of the body rests.
Okay, good. And then from there, I'd like you, we're going to go into a cobra and a downward facing dog. So if you're watching me, you'll see I'm protecting the right Achilles, the back of my right ankle. Okay, but otherwise, I'm doing what I'm saying. So we're coming through this time from that swan stretch, coming through until we're in a cobra. Okay, and then I want you to tuck your toes under and down into downward facing dog. Okay, so that's, well, now I'm not going to show full pose because it will hurt my right foot. Okay, and then coming down again into cobra and back into downward facing dog. And just in case you want to know, this is the worst thing to do if you've torn or overstretched the back of your ankle. So I'm not doing it on my right. Okay, back into the cobra. So that's breathing in and then breathing out. Downward facing dog. Breathing in, Bhujangasana, cobra, and breathing out. The Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Okay, good. And then bend the knees, sit back on the heels, and do some wrist rotations, especially downward facing dog is hard on the wrists and the heel seat of the hands here. So some rotations. Okay, and then coming up to standing, facing the middle again. Getting very close to doing the pose. So we're going back to some stretches. So lift one hand up and lifting my left hand up. Separate the feet out. And then breathe out, going down. Sending the right hand down, the right leg. And the left hand goes over, past the left ear, over the head, fingers dropping down towards the floor. Breathe in, come up. Reverse. Right hand up, left hand sliding down the left leg. And the right hand over, past the head, bending, fingers pointing towards the floor. And then breathe in, come up. So just be aware of how your hip is feeling as you continue to do that. Don't overstretch the hip if it's feeling a little bit, it's protecting. Let's keep going. Okay, make sure we do one more to each side. Nice and rhythmically with the breath. Breathing in, coming up, breathing out, going down. Taking a few breaths in the pose. And then the next in breath, coming up with both hands, and then breathing out, coming down, and placing the hands into the small of the back with the middle fingers onto those sacroiliac joints, those little dimples at the back of the pelvis. So just supporting the back. Again, feet a little bit wide. So breathing in, looking up. Breathing out, stretch the throat open. And then breathing in some more, going back into that wonderful back arch. Okay, the sort of action we do when we get out of a car on a long car journey and go, oh, my back, oh. And it's because the back loves the opposite to slumping or not really, oh, allowing the front of the discs of the back, lower back to open. So keep breathing in the pose. Just pushing the pelvis slightly forward, opening the front of the throat, stretching where the thyroid and the four parathyroid glands are, the corners of the thyroid. And then on the next in breath coming up, and the next out breath, just bending from the waist and tucking the chin in. So your torso is at right angles now to your legs. Okay, holding that for a moment, and then slide the hands down the legs. So you're going to a very gentle, easy does it on that back arch. We're doing the counter pose of the forward bend. Tuck the chin in, lowering the hands to the floor. With this one, I would never ever really over push it, because this is the one that most people will over push, and then their back or the backs of the legs, because they're just going, I want to get down to the ground, I want to get hands to the ground, I want to go into it deeper. Just listen to the body, softly bending forward. Okay, and then bend the knees. Okay, and place your elbows on the knees, so it's like you're in a strange squat. And then using the thighs, bringing the torso up, lifting up, breathing out and down, and bring the feet to just under your hip joint, the ball and socket joint of your hips. Okay, and I'm doing it side on so you can see the angle. Again, I'm not going to use my right foot because I'm protecting it, so watch the left. So you're bending the knee. So I'll try and get my right foot to not confuse the issue. You're bending up the knees, so you're at that angle. And then I want you to bring the arms up. So forget my right leg, just forget what it's doing, I'm protecting it. Bring the arms up. Okay, so a fierce pose. Technically, the line from your ankle to your knee and the line from your shoulders to your fingertips is the same kind of angle, sloping upwards. But it's a hard pose to maintain. So you can come out of it and you can shake a bit. And then you can go into it again. I tell you, it's very hard to do with one leg. At least I'm showing you by example how to adjust poses when you need to. Okay. And then release. Shake the arms around a bit. And let's take the legs out wide. So you really need your sticky mat for this. So take the legs out wide, as wide as they can go. They're facing forward. Okay. And we're going to really stretch the inside of the thigh, the adductors. So if you feel that it's all right for you, just keep nudging heel toe, your feet wider apart. And it's why we need these sticky yoga mats. Okay, because otherwise, if I was just on the wooden floor, I might end up the legs wide out and actually hurting the insides of the thighs. So I always find that I can do it wider than I think I can. Usually end up back here and think that's fine. Actually, yeah, another inch or two, both sides. There we go. Then the hands, let's place them comfortably where the legs join the torso. Okay, and I think you know what's going to happen. We're going to do a forward bend. So breathing in, extend from the crown, and breathing out, hinge from here, from the hips. Okay, down you go. Now, if you think, oh, I feel safe with my hands on the floor, put the hands on the floor. And put the hands between the feet or just in front of the feet on that line, if you see what I mean, on the line where your feet are, or just in front. Okay, and you're stretching down. So the nice thing about having the hands on the floor is that you can put weight through the arms if you feel that your inner thighs are actually going, oh, this bit, it's a bit stretchy, it's a bit hard. Okay, and then you can kind of put the weight then through the legs, test it out a bit, and then more weight through the arms. Try that. Try just playing weight through the arms, more weight through the legs, more weight through the arms. See what's happening. But at some stage, your legs are going to say, enough. And hopefully you'll listen to them. The way to get out of it, the easiest way to get out of it is put the hands forward. Okay, a bit more forward. And then heel toe, the feet towards each other. Okay, until they're wider than your hips apart. And so coming out, lift up, lift up, lift up, using your thighs, okay? Thighs, so very, very slow. Let's just go into a star for a moment and breathe. Well done. Okay, so that was Pasuriti Padottanasana, as we were bending forward with those wide stretched legs. And you might be pleased to know I'm not going to ask you to do that again. Once was probably enough. And now we're actually at where we were heading, which is the warrior pose, Virabhadrasana, named after Virabhadra, the warrior, the great sort of war leader who could bring strength and motivation to his army. So let's breathe out now, bringing the hands down. We have to think about the legs. So with the warrior pose, it's much wider than Trikonasana asana, as you know. So we'll put the right leg going to, if we've got looking along the mat, 12 o'clock, the end of your mat there. Right foot pointing towards 12 o'clock. Back foot, wherever it is probably not far away enough. So move it back a bit more. It's very rare that students actually have their feet wide enough apart in this pose. And just check again, the back of your front heel is in a nice line to where your instep starts on your back foot. So you might need to move your back foot. Where is your back foot pointing? Let me think. That's 12 o'clock and that's 6 o'clock. It's pointing there. That's 9 o'clock. It's probably pointing to 10 o'clock. That makes sense. Pointing up that way. So it's definitely toes coming in. And then what do we need to do? We need to protect this front knee. So if you just bend that front knee and get it to go over the second toe next to the big toe. Okay, put your hands on your hips while you do this. That's the bent knee that we're going to have. And when we go into it fully, we're hoping for a right angle here at the knee. So we're hoping, we may not get there, but we're hoping for this thigh to be more or less parallel to the ground, okay, like that. That's where we're heading. So straighten that knee, but don't forget where the pelvis is when we did that. Double check if you want. Okay, and both legs straight. Breathe in, take the arms up. Now, the funny thing about the arms is that the shoulders usually go up too. So in this one, we want to lower the shoulders down a bit and tuck the tailbone under a bit. Okay, and watch this back arm tends to float all over the place. It floats to the right and left, it floats down. So turn and have a look at it and adjust it so it actually is going out behind you at the same height as the front arm with the shoulders down. Then let's have a look. Where's that right knee? Let's bend it over that second toe. Okay. So as the right knee bends, the torso does not move or bend forward like that. It just drops. Okay. So hopefully and technically the torso is actually upright as this knee bends. And then we look over that front arm into infinity. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Strength, courage, invincibility, physical power and strength, and endurance. So these are all the things that this pose hopefully helps with. Okay. And I think I've told you this. The story is that the warriors stayed in the pose for 3 hours on this side and 3 hours on the other side, by which time the day would have been finished and they couldn't go into battle. So I don't really understand that, but that's the story in the Mahabharata. And then push back so that the front knee straightens, the arms come down, turn your front right foot and heel toe together. So when we stay in the warrior pose for a long time, we don't just swing round and do the other side, we actually come out. And we move the legs a bit. We might move the ankle joints a bit. Okay, the feet, soles of the feet, shoulders, arms. Generally get a feel of just checking through the body and preparing to do Virabhadrasana on the other side. So we're going to put the left foot out to the left now. Okay, so before we do that, pause, steady, Tadasana, the mountain. Close the eyes, crown of the head lifting upwards. And maybe you could feel the body was like, yeah, do the left now. Actually, we've just stopped going forward and paused. Consolidating. Aware in the moment. Rooted deep into the earth, crown of the head up into the heavens, hands hanging heavy by the sides. Beautiful Tadasana, stability, solid, immovable. And now we'll gently allow the mind to think about doing it to the left. Just think about it. You know, in a moment we're going to be moving the left foot, stretching it out to the left and lining it up. So let's do all these movements with slow awareness. So left foot goes along the mat, right foot stepping back, knowing probably, if you're like me, that it's never quite wide enough, but doing your best a little bit further. Bend the front knee, let it go over the second toe, toes pointing to 12 o'clock on the other side now. Pointing to 12 o'clock, back foot, just check its positioning, bring the toes in a little. I may not do that because it may compromise the back of my ankle. And I'll keep mine going straight out to, that's 12 o'clock, mine is pointing to 3 o'clock. Okay, and then when you've bent the knee and check where the pelvis is. Okay, straighten both legs, keep pelvis exactly there, breathe in, take the arms, let the arms float up. Do the normal check for the back arm, which is usually doing its own thing back there. It's always good to check it. Okay, and then check the front arm. And then tuck the tailbone under a little. Try not to stick the belly button out. Okay, just tuck in a little. Bends that left knee. And remember, torso goes straight down, it doesn't lean. And into the warrior pose. So trying to keep nice right angle behind that front knee, unless it hurts. If there's pain coming through that front knee, push back, don't go down so deep. And then shoulders back, shoulder blades slightly coming together. The legs might tremble a little. Breathing nice and steady into it, looking into infinity, if you can, along the length of that front arm. Invincible, strong, warrior. Check that front knee that it isn't swinging in to the front of you to past the big toe. Okay, a little bit longer, not too long. Okay, and then straighten up the leg, breathe out, bring the hands down, turn the feet to the front, pointing to the front, heel toe and heel toe in. Okay, good. Coming up, shaking out the legs. You can generally feel, the thighs are like, oh God, we were struggling a little there. Okay, so give them a little bit of attention, a love and kindness, and a loving care. You can rub all the way down the legs, work hard, and then just check anywhere else. Shoulders probably need a little bit of attention. Arms, you can do some arm twists through if that helps. Okay, good. Stretch up. Oh. And then we're just going to do a Trikona asana and then do a tree pose to end. So right front foot out to the right. Okay. Again, just check positioning. With the Trikona asana, you're trying to make the length between your feet the same length as your legs. So if you've got really long legs, it's quite wide. And if you've got really short legs, it's not so wide. Back foot comes in, back toes come in a little, same as before. Nice alignment. Check the hip positioning by bend that front knee. There we go. That front knee goes over that second toe, then straighten that leg. Breathe in, arms go up like the warrior, sorry. And then here we want a big stretch in the abdominal area, middle of the body. So lift the rib cage up and up and over as you breathe out. Straighten the front leg, make sure it's straight as you can. And don't worry about going down deep. Go down to your knee, go down wherever you like. But wherever feels comfortable for you. If you want, you can put a block, something on the inside of your right foot, so you can place your hand on it. And then hopefully the other arm comes up. Palm facing forward, you're looking forward, okay? And you're as straight as you can be, with your legs without hurting anything, okay? And then if you want to, Theta Trikona asana, the arm goes over and really point those fingers, so you're doing a maximum stretch from those left fingers down to the outside of your left ankle, maximum stretch, okay? Breathe, 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 breathe. Lovely, you can look up through your left upper arm if you like. It's quite strenuous tonight. Okay, to come out of it, I would tend to bend that front knee, put my left hand onto my hip, bring my right elbow onto my right knee, gently deepen it a bit, slowly, slowly pulling myself up. And I think we probably with that one can get away with just swinging over because it's not doing too bad a stretch, but if you want to shake the legs a bit, do, or just swing over. So we're doing it on the left side. So the triangle pose going to the left. So check the feet, right toe slightly pulled in. Hold on, I won't do that because of my right Achilles. But your toes slightly pulled in. Bend your left knee. Check that it's going over the second toe. Check your pelvis position when it does that. Straighten up, leave the pelvis exactly there. Bring the arms up. Crown lifting up to the heavens. And lift the ribcage up and over. Left hand slides down the leg. Right hand up to the heavens, palms facing the front. If you want to, if you feel steady enough, you can look up to the ceiling, breathing, breathing, breathing. You can place a block on the inside of your left foot. That makes it easier for you. And if you want to go into the extended stretch of Theta Trikonasana asana, extended triangle, the right arm comes over past the ear rather than dropping in front of the face, past the ear, extenuating and emphasizing and exaggerating and deepening that stretch along this right side of the torso, and hopefully from the right ankle right the way through to the right fingertips. And you can look up through the upper arm if you wish. Letting the pose work on us, the same amount of time in it as we spent on the other side. And when you feel you've really had enough, probably about now, 30 seconds, a minute, good in this pose, standard. Okay, and to come out of it, let the arm go up, bend that front knee a bit, place the left hand on the front knee, pushing yourself up. And the toes to the front, and heel toe in. In Ashtanga yoga, they ask you to jump in and jump out a lot, but I'm not so keen on the jumping at the moment. You can if you want, if you feel that you've got that strength and that energy. Okay, shake out, stand in the mountain again. Shavasana. Check the weight distribution through the feet. Hanging heavy, feet underneath the hip joints. Check your ankle isn't collapsing inwards or outwards, just right underneath the knee joint, hip joint. Crown of the head lifting into the heavens. Okay, and then we're just going to do the tree pose. Relaxation. So choose, oh no, let's use the left leg as the stable, steady leg, and it's the right leg that's going to come up. So place all the weight onto your left leg, left foot. Bring up your right foot. I'll do the easy pose, but bring up your right foot to wherever it will attach. Push it against your thigh, your knee, lower leg, your foot, or even the floor. Okay, but basically it's a balance pose, and we're trying to put the weight just through one leg. And then the hands come up to the oak tree. Open out the heart, coming up above if you can. So, tall poplar tree. If you feel wobbly, look at a fixed point on the floor in front of you, about 8 feet in front of you. And if you think you're going to come down, go back into the oak, the balance, and then release the feet. Foot have come down, breathing out, going back into the mountain. Nice and steady. So we've done a lot of work through the legs, so you may be feeling that your legs are just a little bit not at their best because they're kind of thinking about Shavasana, corpse pose, and we're nearly there. This is the last pose, guys. So pausing, mountain, steadying out. You'll feel how there's more weight going through this left leg. You'll feel that as you stand in Tadasana, the mountain. So now let's shift the weight into the right leg, okay? And then position the left. So I'm going to do really easy poses in this one so you can see what adapted poses look like. So positioning your left leg out into oak tree and into lifted pose. Remember, you can have that foot wherever you'd like it, if it works for you. And 20 seconds, 30 seconds is enough. It probably, at any stage, if you're really wobbly, come back into the oak, gives you more balance. And then when you think, oh, I don't know, bring the left foot down, breathe out, come down, shake out. So that's the end of the asana. That was really good. Really, really strong work that we were doing. Coming down to seated, kneeling, cross-legged, anything, sitting on a chair, don't mind. We're just going to do some breathing work. We've been doing square breathing, 4 to 6. Okay. And what I'd like you to do this time, we've done it before, is Sahita Pranayama, balancing breathing. So try and sit nice and even, left to right, spine upright. And as I said to you before, you can do breathing work lying down, but ideally the spine is upright. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 0, so no hold, out for 4, hold for 0. We'll do that 3 times, and then we're going to go up to 6, 0, 6, 0, and then we're going to do 8, 0, 8, 0, and then we're going to come down 6, 0, 6, 0. But at the 8, 0, 8, 0, we're doing it times 6. Don't worry too much, I'll lead you through it. It's a lovely, beautiful balancing breath. So comfortably position your hands somewhere, make sure you're as comfy as you can be. You don't want to be like, ow, my knee's hurting while we're doing this. Give the focus of attention to the breath. So the preparation level is 4, 0, 4, 0. So breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 4. Repeat that 2 more times. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 4. Next level, breathe in for 6. Breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 6. Breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 6. Breathe out for 6. And then we come to the goal, 8, 0, 8, 0, 6 times. So breathe in for 8, ready. Out. In for 8. Out. In for 8. Out. In for 8. Out. In for 8. Out. Last one, in for 8. Out. Descent, 6, 0. In for 6. Out for 6. In for 6. out. In for 6. Out. Okay, and then base in for 4. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Okay, good. Release from the breathing, from the pranayama. I'll probably do that again next week, but things to help are you can count how many rounds you've done, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, and you can push down on one finger, and then the second one push down on the next finger, the third one. And that's what I do, especially when I'm counting up to 6 repetitions, so I know where I'm at, because of course we're all focusing on the count. And you were doing it with me, and my count might be different from your count. You might have had a much longer 4, much longer 6, much longer 8. But I'd like you to practice that during the week and do it exactly how you feel. 8 is meant to be really, pushing your lungs, maximum breathing in and then maximum breathing out. Good. So we've done all that work. Let's go down into Shavasana and do the wonderful relaxation at the end. And make sure you're warm enough. So find those socks and find your jacket or jumper, sweater, whatever you had. Keep yourself warm enough. Remember to put a blanket down beneath you, blanket above you, unless you've got really warm carpeted floor, rug, whatever. And as you do this, tenderly, kindly looking after yourself as much as possible. You might need to turn the light off in the room that you're in so that it's not blazing down at you. If you have an eye pillow, please do find it and place it on the eyes. I'm going to go a bit dark because I'm turning off the main central light and I'm turning away the daylight light, which is very bright. Here we go. And remember those sudden movements as we go into this pose. But checking your lower back is comfortable. Checking that you can roll your feet from side to side to check the hips are comfortable. So, and as usual, if you want to stay in the pose, as I end the class, please do stay down in the corpse pose because you're at home, you don't have to go anywhere. And if you're happy there, enjoy. Allowing the breathing to quieten down. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do, we're just being, allowing the body to sink, feel heavy and sink into the ground and let go completely. And as the body goes into deep yoga nidra, deep rest, it can allow all the benefits of our practice to be absorbed more deeply into the very cells and atoms, physical body, at the emotional level, and the mind.
And if the mind wanders off, just see if it's trundled off and is worrying about something. It's very easy at this point for that to happen. So obviously don't beat yourself up for it. But if you've noticed that, just come back and maybe just be aware of what sensation you have in the palms of the hands, for example. The backs of the knees. Or where your collarbone is, behind your ears. So just anchor the awareness gently without tugging it back. Anchoring it as you explore sensations in the body. And the weight of the body just dropping away downwards into the earth. And the breathing coming to almost imperceptible. And it's one of the reasons why it's called the corpse pose. So if somebody was watching, they can hardly tell that you're breathing at all. Everything was quietened down so much. Deep yoga, sleep, rest state. Body completely resting and letting go. And of course, if ever there's discomfort or pain while being in this pose or any pose, you don't have to wait for permission to move or move out of it. Adjust the position. Just do what feels best for you, the kindest way for you. And sometimes corpse pose can feel absolutely delicious. Almost as though the body's dropped away completely. But also interestingly, after a yoga session,
the body, the emotions, the mind can release things that we've been suppressing. So instead of feeling all nice and rested, you might find there's difficult feelings coming up physically, emotionally, mentally. And that's okay. They'll be releasing through the system. So you can see where I'm heading with this. Whatever's happening is what's happening. And we try to meet it with as much tenderness and gentleness as we can. So remember, you don't have to move if you're comfy where you are. I know some of you find it absolutely lovely to stay in this pose for quite a while. And the longer you stay in it, the greater the benefit, really. It's a wonderful pose, one of my favourite yoga poses. So you can stay there. I'm just going to do a Sanskrit chant. We've been doing that at the end of each session. So Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. And lead me from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace. So for those of you who do want to move, if you could just gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then bring the legs to parallel. And then point the toes away from you, breathing in, bring the arms up to the ceiling, point fingers to the ceiling or behind you. Nice, slow, gentle movements. Don't have to come up, remember, you can stay exactly where you are. Stretching, stretching, bringing movement back into the body. And then bend the knees. And then roll over to one side and use your arms to push and come up. Okay, so always coming up gently and slowly, no sudden movements, protecting the back. And thank you.